This is another in the First Read series, where I read a poem by a poet I don't know or know very little about. This is in the Argotist Online poetry, and I know some of these writers, so I had to skip down a little bit to Mark Pirie, who I don't know, but hopefully we'll get to know a little bit from this. So in the First Read series, I just read a poem by a poet for the first reading. I don't know anything about it. I might change my mind if I come back to it later and get some context. But the first time through, I just read for sheer joy of it. I always look at the form before I look at anything. So looking at this, it's set up into 2-line stanzas. I don't see any rhyme on the end of it. Let's check out if it's got a meter. As citizen sits beside the sea of his village, his haven. To the left of him, the plastic moves in an unwanted visitor. So I'm going to assume this is open form since the meter is not there's not a consistent syllable count to this. I mean, I could definitely go through and put in what the meter would be, but I think it would be fairly sporadic. So we'll just leave it at that. This one, just looking through, the last thing says based on a photo by Daniel Kakati, so I'm assuming this is an ekphrastic piece. Ekphrastic pieces are, of course, when you're responding to a photo or an image of some sort with a poem. So, Citizen, Solomon Islands. So, off on its own edge of the world. Citizen. Citizen sits beside the sea of his village, his haven. And there's an ellipsis. I'm not sure why there's an ellipsis here. It just kind of continues on. Not sure if we need one there, but it's kind of spacing that we have in between the lines. But continuation. So citizen sitting beside the sea of his village, his haven. So in the islands, somebody sitting by the water. To the left of him, the plastic moves like an unwanted visitor. So I'm assuming this is in the water, but it might not be. Just to the left of him, plastic moves there, staying for good. The plastic forms like debris from a lost war. So this plastic is coming to this person on the Solomon Islands, which are, fairly remote. And it's piling up like some lost war, but it's not this person's lost war specifically. We're not told that, at least. It's just piling up there like debris. The citizen thinks he's invisible, no identity in his homeland. And I suppose this is why it's called The Citizen. It reminds me of Auden's poem about the unknown citizen. But the citizen here thinks he's invisible, no identity is in his homeland. I don't know why this person would think they're invisible. It's potentially just because they're in the Solomon Islands. They're so far away from, the war of the plastics and things like that in the industrialized part of the world. No identity in his homeland. The sea is meant to be peaceful as when he was a child. Right? The sea has all of this stuff that he's grown up with, and he imagines that still be there. I wish that we had the image here with us. I think that would help. I see it like when ekphrastic pieces have the images along with them. His memories shrink as the sea advances. His home is now under threat. As the sea advances, I don't know if this is supposed to hint at the rising waters with, the global crisis with the warming of the planet. And his memories shrink. His memories of this sea that was peaceful shrink back because the sea that he has now is now coming not as a peaceful thing, but to cover up his home. It's carrying debris from another war. It's carrying things outside of the island to it, and actually that covering up the island as it is by it. So citizen. And I don't know if this citizen, the unknown citizen, no identity, if this is just meant to be citizen as representative human, having to deal with the after effects of, industrialized world that might or might not have been something he had any part in causing. So I like it. I tend to like environmental pieces. This kind of contemplation from Solomon Islands, or at least looking at an image of the Solomon Islands, so interesting. Interesting image. By Mark Pirie.